need to get out of this door! Maybe we should go back! No! No, we jumped too far!
Thought this might be of interest to you.
The Ark, real page turner.
Just read it for me.
Dad, isn't this the type of thing that got you kicked out of Virginia Tech?
You have some strange ideas about the universe and your God.
Jehovah is God.
Ah, Noah.
And that's the goal, gentlemen. God's will.
Jehovah is going to flood the world. And I was commanded to build this ship.
This is lunacy. You know it, Noah.
Now we are going to get up on that mountain. And we're going to find the Ark.
Yes, we are.
John?
So when I was struck and I was lying there, and I thought that I was going to die.
But
I heard God say, praise me, praise me.
Jehovah, I feel like I failed you.
I don't know what's gonna happen with my MS.
John,
It's bleak.
I feel so lost.
we are not lost. We are together.
I could end up in a wheelchair in a year or so. I could get so bad that I can't provide for you or raise kids.
When I met you, I believed in you. And then because of who you are and how you are, I believed in Jehovah.
So if God has given you the grace to get this far, then He will give us the grace to make this work.
It took a lot to get here. But by God's grace, here we are.
So, guys, if it's up there and we find it,
Yeah?
what happens then?
We changed the world.
We changed the world!
Hi, I'm Amanda Llewellyn, and
Hey guys, well that was a little bit of a hello. Amanda Llewellyn is not here just yet. She's coming. Hey, it's Benjamin Dane, and you just saw the new trailer for Struck the series. We are here today, and this is actually our 13th episode, if you can believe that. That's just amazing to me that we're already on the 13th episode. It's been a year and a month since we started the Struck Live, but every month we come to you guys. We tell you the latest and the greatest, what's going on with the series. And I'm excited today because we're going to be speaking with Amanda Llewellyn. And Amanda is the other half of the Wes Amanda power couple team. And Amanda is a producer and writer along with Wes. But here's the cool thing. Today we're going to talk about the pilot episode. So it's very exciting. It's exciting to me because I'm seeing all these things that you guys aren't quite seeing, all the little details, but we're trying to kind of let you in on what's going on. But seriously, it's going to be fun today. And I want to tell you a couple things before we get Amanda in here. One of the things that I wanted to tell you guys is, go to the strucktheseries.com. I've got all these controls. Hold on a second, because I want to make sure that we get this on and you guys can see it. But there we go. The ticker tape at the bottom is rolling now, and that is strucktheseries.com. So you can go there, and there's a whole plethora of things there. We just redesigned the site, and I was trying to get it up here for you guys hold on one second, because I want you guys to see what actually we have here on the new site, because the new site is pretty cool. It's changed a little bit, and we've added a few features because we're actually redesigning the site. We're going to have new artwork. We're going to have new features. We're going to have new video footage that you guys can see. So it's all pretty cool. That's the exciting thing. And you guys are going to be able to see that. But I want to show you real quick. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. So this is the new website. So you can see we've got the trailer right there. We've got the synopsis with the stories about. We've got these engage, get, and donate buttons where you can go to different things. When you click the donate, you can donate there because we're crowdfunding you guys, and you guys have the power to donate and make this thing happen. And it's all tax deductible. So that's very cool. But when you click engage, you can become a Lightning Club member. That helps us. It helps you stay informed. You get a once a month communique, what's going on. And also we've got the Struck gear. So you can see right here, this is the Struck gear. So you can go here. We've got t-shirts and caps and mugs and bags and even jewelry. It's all kinds of stuff. It's all custom, and every purchase that you make on the website helps us develop the series. So 100% goes back to Struck the series. So that's a pretty cool deal. And you get a chance to wear Struck and promote it and tell people about this incredible new epic series. It's a great website though. Go there, strucktheseries.com, so you can see all the new changes that are happening, and stay tuned for some incredible things that are coming up really, really soon to the website. So we're very excited about that. There's a lot of things moving right now, a lot of moving parts that you cannot see, but we're trying to let you guys in. We're pulling back the curtain so you guys can see the developing of the series. When you see the trailer, or when you see the torch video, when you see these proof of concepts, all these things come together, a lot of people are asking, well, when can I see it? Where is it? What streaming series is it on? What network is it on? Well, it's not quite there yet. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today with Amanda. But the cool thing is it is in developing. It is happening. And like I said, you're going to see it develop before your very eyes. We're trying to do this like that no one has done before. We're kind of bringing you guys into this thing, but we're about to do some exciting things. So we're very pumped that you guys are involved in it. But seriously, get involved, share it, let people know. Go to our website, go to our socials, make sure you like us and you follow us on all the socials. And like I said, if you go to the website and click on engage, that big button underneath the trailer, if you go there, you will sign up for the Lightning Club, and that's going to give you a once a month. We just had a newsletter that went out, the Struck Bolt, that just went out, and there was a ton of information in it. So those people know more than you do if you're not involved and you're not a Lightning Club member. So make sure you do get involved. Go to the website, get involved. And like I said, there's merchandise, there's all kinds of things there, but do get involved. Let me tell you a little bit about Amanda, because I want to get right into Amanda Llewellyn and writing the pilot, which is in process right now. Amanda is, gosh, it's hard to describe Amanda. I mean, she has a mind and a depth that I've never seen in a person before. I mean, she really is gifted. She somehow obtains all of this knowledge, and it's like there in a file system. And if you ask her any trivia or ask her any questions, she pulls up the fact immediately. It's pretty incredible, you guys, to sit and chat with Amanda. But she is a wealth of knowledge. And like I said, she is half of the power couple team that's behind Struck, that are writing, producing, and of course, Wes is directing. And I want to bring her on right now. So hello, say hello to Amanda. There she is. Hey, Amanda. Did I say all that right? What are we laughing about? It's so funny.
I'm sorry. She has a mind.
She does have a mind. I hope she has a mind.
Oh Lordy, that was good stuff, Ben.
Well, it's on the fly. What can I say? It's on the fly. You never know.
Yeah,
It's live.
yeah,
It's live television right here in front of all the fans. We're here live, so you never know what you're going to get.
no, you don't. You never know. You
Yeah,
never
you never
what
know.
you're gonna be.
I do want to remind people, though, before we get started with Amanda, that you guys can ask us questions live. We'll try to get to everything. And we've got a lot of people on. We've got Kim Blakay, who's also a producer.
Hey,
We've
Kimmy.
got Candy Rose. We've got Maddie. Hey, Maddie. I met Maddie at Content, and so excited that he's a part here, and he's here. We've got Cindy Navarro. We've got lots of folks. I'm gonna try to show some of these comments. So thanks a lot, Maddie, for commenting. And again, anyone that's here, please comment. Please ask a question if you've got a question for Amanda on writing a series or something specific about Struck. Let us know and we'll try to get to it. So Maddie says, excited to hear about the pilot. Know all of you have put a lot of work into this project. Trailer looks great. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate that. Yes. So Amanda's here, and she is a mind. And but Amanda, tell us what's going on. I mean, we did this proof of concept, and you guys wrote this amazing proof of concept. Tell us how all that happened. A lot of people know the story, but tell us a little bit about that before we get into writing the pilot.
Okay. Well, just very briefly, about 4 years ago, I got a call from Sue Ellen Roberts, and she said, "I don't know how to produce a movie, and I know that you've done that, and you've been recommended to me." And she was somebody that I actually had met at ICVM conference, and we had chatted and we talked, and I'd seen her again at another conference. So she was somebody that I knew, and she seemed really connected, and so she called me and she said, I want to do this biopic. I want to do this biography movie. And what do I do? And so I started giving her a list of things to do. And like once a month she would call and I would give her a list, and then she would go out and she would do it. And then she'd call me back, and pretty soon she's like, "Oh, you're helping me produce this thing." And then she said, "Do you know a good director?" And I went, yes, yes, I do know a good director. And so Wes came on board, and then pretty soon we had discovered that it was going to be a better service to the story to make it a series, make it a streaming series if that's where we're going to go. Maybe a majors, not really sure yet. But I think with the series, we're going to be able to really explore the topic, which is John Morris and Noah. And I think one of the disservices that Noah has had is that people just keep thinking of him as the flannelgrams at Sunday school, that they don't really take it seriously. And I think that one of the things that we want to be able to do is not just talk about the man and the task at hand, but exactly how was it accomplished and what does that mean for us today? And I think that John is that touchstone to the modern age, so that we're bringing Noah into a modern context by wrapping their stories together. Because as I sat and talked to the Lord about Noah and asked him, start revealing to me what it is that you would like for us to say about Noah, he started bringing to mind how many parallels that he and John have as far as some of the social hurdles and the personal relationship hurdles that they had to overcome in order to be able to do the things that God has asked them to do. And I kept thinking, these stories can be very intertwined, and I think that they would be really good to complement each other and sort of bring life to the text of Genesis in a modern context. So,
and it's also this incredible concept in a nonlinear way of telling the story of Noah by bringing the true life story of John D. Morrison and his search for the ark into
Yeah.
the fray, into all of this story. But you've got a great new way of telling the past, connecting to the present. It's really a very cool concept. And that's the one thing that I keep hearing from people like, oh, wow, you're going to show John's life and you're going to show him searching for the ark and how he researches Noah and how that comes into the picture. But we're going to show Noah like you've never seen him before.
Yes.
And I think that's fascinating.
I think one of the biggest problems, like I said before, is I think a lot of people relegate Genesis to flannelgrams. The old Sunday school where you have the flannel and then you have the little animal flannel cutouts and you put them on the other flannel. And that's not who Noah as a man was. That's not who he was. We get hints about certain things about him. That he was an evangelist. He preached for 100 years and got 3 converts for the wives for his sons, so he has daughters-in-law. but God really had a very sincere and very serious mission for him. And he had to do it under extreme stress. And if you just think about it for a minute, how difficult would it have been for you to, have friends and family that you love that are not going on that ark with you because they just don't believe you. They don't believe. And John had a very similar burden when it came down to the reasons why he wanted the truth of the Bible out there was so that people can believe and get on that ark called Jesus Christ and be saved. And so his passion for that was extraordinary. And he went through so many trials and tribulations in order to be able just to speak on this subject alone, not even counting all the expeditions that he did worldwide, but also, all the research that he did, the writing that he did, the books that he published, how many times he went overseas to travel and those types of things. So this is these stories are so connected, and I'm really looking forward to being able to kind of weave that together in such a way that it makes the Noah story very exciting, and it makes it puts it into a modern context. So we can understand some of the struggles that Noah had and what he was trying to do as well. So that's the challenge too, because 6.5 pages of Noah in the Bible. That's it. That's it. 6.5 pages.
What I like about it is that it's Noah is such an important thing. Like we've talked about before, it's the flood story is in 270 different cultures worldwide. They all have similar flood stories. And I think that's fascinating because people don't understand is that before the Tower of Babel, we all just had the same stories. But after the Tower of Babel, after everyone was scattered, when I say this, people are like, oh my God. But after people were scattered into different regions and different languages, their stories were different, but they all had the same story. And that's why before the Tower of Babel. And so the flood story, it also is to me another proof that the flood story did happen. If it's around 270 different cultures and people are that is ingrained into their culture, that's a story that permeates everything. Yeah. But it's so cool that we're covering that. Now, I want to ask you, I think it's an incredible premise, the way we're doing it. I think the concept's amazing and people are like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. And we're going to have and I don't want to go into it right now, but I've said it before, but we're going to have this incredible behind the science where we're going to have interactive capability of when you see an episode and you want to know the science behind that episode, it's going to be on the website. You can go there. You can find out more information. Why did people live longer during the Antediluvian time period? Why, is there proof that there was a flood? You're going to see the proof, and as we have some of the latest developments and discoveries, all of that's going to be on there. So it's going to be an amazing component of this whole thing. But right now we're talking about the pilot, and we're in the process, right? So talk about the process of writing a pilot.
Well, I'm going to say that almost every writing assignment has its own quirks and how you get there. So Wes and I, we live in South Georgia, and we have made more trips to Texas than I ever thought in my whole entire life that I would make in the car driving somewhere. And so in those times, Wes and I actually talk about story a lot. And he is my writing partner. And generally speaking, what happens is that we will come up with an outline. The two of us will really work on that outline, come up with some stuff. A lot of times what will happen is that I'll get a full scene, or Wes will get a full scene, and we'll a lot of times write out those full scenes that we have in our minds in the outline, so that it kind of reminds us, what we want to say when we get to that portion of the story. And then what'll happen a lot of times is that I'll come in and I'll write down the first pass. Sometimes we'll work scene by scene, or sometimes we'll work in sections. And then Wes comes in and he Wes-sizes things, Oh, I love that. Can you say it with a look? Oh, I love that. Can you say it with 3 words? And so we work and massage and we do dialogue together, which is really great because our dialogue tends to sound pretty natural. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we do write together a lot. But and so that's kind of how we did the promo piece, the proof of concept piece.
Yeah.
We did that. There were certain scenes that I had in my head that I was just like, oh gosh, we really need to do that. I came up with the "So You Believes," which is something that I say personally.
Yeah.
So you believe, and yeah, that's Noah's mic drop moment, if ever there was a mic drop moment.
It definitely is.
Totally, So you believe, but when we do write together, it's one of those things where we really do listen to each other. So it's not just like one person's, this is all their stuff, and then this they wrote this part. It's you start merging it all together, especially in conversation and working it out and things like that. So it's a very collaborative situation for Wes and I writing. But a lot of times when I'm talking about writing, because somebody's addressing me in particular, I'll say I. And Wes is like, you need to say we more often. I was like, oh yeah, I do need to say we more often. It's the royal I.
I think it's such a cool fact that it's collaborative, that it is, because what I find fascinating, a lot of people think that if you're a writer, if you're a novelist, or if you're a writer, then it's an easy transition to go into screenplays, and it's not. A screenwriter is a completely different animal than a novelist. And
So,
I just this year, my first year, I released 2 books on Amazon, and it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of time, and it took a lot of effort, research, and so forth to put those together. But I do know that in the industry, when you a screenwriter and a novelist are 2 separate things.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of times I think novelists try to write screenplays. Sometimes they're successful, but really it takes a screenwriter, because you don't understand. A screenwriter needs to understand the camera angles, the actions, what can happen visually, the dialogue between characters. How do you see that as a screenwriter, and how does that play into how you write from the very beginning?
Well, I think one thing that was really helpful, when I started screenwriting, was I had already been working in crew for a good 10, 15 years. Well, it's about 10 years by the time I really started writing.
Right.
And that was really helpful because I understood the way the camera sees things. And a really good screenplay doesn't call attention to the camera moves. It doesn't say close up of this or the dolly here, or that's you don't want to do that. That's really disruptive when you're reading a script, and especially if you're trying to get a script produced, or you're trying to work with other creative people in their departments, that you want to be able to allow them a certain amount of latitude to bring what they see into the project. So film is a very collaborative art form. So I'm going to say that in screenwriting, you do have to be clever when it comes down to how you say something. And so let's say we're going to do a close-up of somebody with something in their hands. Instead of saying, you know, an ECU, extreme close-up, or a close-up of what's in their hand, in the action, you can say, Tony uncurls his fingers, and in the palm of his hand are gummy bears. Okay, well, we know then camera-wise and directorial speaking wise is that we're going to have an insert shot of Tony uncurling his fingers and showing us the gummy bears in his hand. You don't have to say that, but you've said it already. You've said it within the context of storytelling, because in the long run, a script is story. Now, here's the other really weird thing, is that it needs to be visual, and visual writing is different than novel writing a lot of times, because novel writing, you're talking about internal feelings and motivations, where in a screenplay, you are talking about what the characters are doing and how they react to what is happening to them. And you can't have them talking about necessarily how they're feeling all the time. That becomes on the nose dialogue and really super tedious. So you have to be very aware that there are certain things that people do. How do people really react to things? And really keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're starting to write something out, that it's not, I'm really angry with you. It's no, you're making dinner and you're slamming the drawers as you're, you're getting knives and forks and things like that out in the kitchen cabinets, and, flipping the burgers and banging on the frying pan too loud, then we know that you're angry. We don't have to have that person saying, I'm so angry with you. It has to be within the context of natural action. And I think that this is something that a lot of people don't understand about screenwriting, especially new people.
I think it's so interesting that a screenwriter, when they write the screenplay, and then you hear about it all the time, if you've got a Spider-Man movie or these big movies, that there's been 35 writers that have been touching it, massaging it and putting it together. But then what people don't realize is that in a series, there's usually a team of writers working, and some writers are assigned just to specific characters and their dialogue, and and then there's there's writers that create the concepts and what's going on in that particular episode. It really is, to me, it's very fascinating how all of that works in a series, and it's a lot different than a film, right?
Well, in some cases, yes. We're probably going to be shooting film style, because that's our background. That's our training. That's our background. Wes is a filmmaker. He's been one for a very, very long time. I've been making movies for a really long time as well. So we have this in our head of how to tell the story, and also how to work in a collaborative environment when it comes down to that kind of creative input. But what you do want to do when you're looking at a series is you make this thing called the story Bible, or the series Bible. And what that means is that you have character sketches of who these characters are. You have a story arc for each character. You have a story arc for each episode. You have a series arc for the entire series, and per season. And what happens in that particular end is that you're mapping out what it is that you really need to say within the context of those particular episodes and the series as a whole, so that you don't lose sight of it, that it doesn't become something that you just sort of, toss by the wayside, that there are certain words and there are certain ideas that you want to get across to people that have to constantly be in the forefront. They're the sticky notes on your computer as you're writing, that you're constantly reminding yourself that this is my goal. This is my goal. John's overall goal is to tell people about Jesus Christ by testifying to the truth of the Bible. And that is his whole character drive, that he discovers evidence for the truth of the Bible. He wants to tell people about Jesus, and he wants to say the Bible is true, so Jesus is also true. You can trust him. He is trustworthy. And that's John's whole mindset. That's why he does his science the way he does it. He does it from a redemptive point of view. And likewise, Noah's thing is, I have been charged with saving the world by this vehicle, this ark, and I have to be completely obedient to the Lord. These are two men who've been very obedient. So within the context of the writing, if we're just talking about our two main characters, both of these you always have to have those things, in the forefront of your mind when you're writing their characters, so that you don't violate their characters, that you don't violate who they are as people,
Right.
and that it feels very organic. It feels like real life.
Yes, and as you bring in new writers, they understand they have their kind of brand style guide that they've got to go by as they write for the series. So right now, you've talked about this, and I find that thrilling, really, that there is this kind of roadmap that's created at the very beginning for a series, and they call it a series Bible. But like you had mentioned, and then it kind of gives parameters. It also shows, this is something that we have to approach distributors with. And a lot of people don't know this, but as you sell or as you pitch a project to a distributor, a streaming service, you've got to show them this series Bible so that they understand where the series is going, and what each character is about, and so forth. So talk about now the pilot that you're working on right now. You and Wes are in the process of writing the pilot episode. Why is that so important, and what really is important to do or to present in the pilot, as this is the first episode that not only people will see, but also what distributors will see what an episode's going to look like?
One of the big challenges in a pilot is you don't want to give away too much story. But you do want to introduce your top main characters. And generally speaking, within approximately an hour long project, you want to introduce as we say, the top 9. And I know that sounds like a lot of characters, but in actual fact, if you can relate characters to one another, if they're easily identifiable, it's going to be a lot easier for people to kind of buy into who these people are and then want to see the next episode. So within the first episode, we need to introduce John, what his mission is. We need to introduce Dalta. We need to introduce Noah. We need to introduce his wife. You need to introduce who is Noah's enemy and who is John's enemy, and all those other kinds of things, so that you have a dramatic structure that you're able to then piece together for the pilot episode. And
these are the characters that are in your episode, in this first episode, that will carry through the whole series. So they have to be introduced, and people need to kind of start knowing who they are, right?
Yes. And that's sort of the point. We were talking to one writer, and he goes, "Oh, just introduce Dalton in the second season." I'm like, no, can't do that. She's super important to John. we have to introduce her at about the same time that we introduce John. We don't have to dwell on it, but we do have to have certain people there so that you look for them as the story unfolds.
Sure.
So yes, we are going to be telling this story kind of in a nonlinear fashion, and that's also helpful. So one of our models for that, and I know this sounds really crazy, is Breaking Bad, who's probably done that better than just about any other series ever has done when it comes down to breaking a timeline, but then making it all make sense as you move along. So that's kind of, people are like, really? It's like, yeah, but it's really, really good writing. They are masters at what we refer to as the cold open. We have a cold open in ours. They're masters at being able to give you a lot of really great foreshadowing scenes that are then paid off later. And I think that really kind of pulls people into the drama and into the mystery of what's going to happen next. And and so we're kind of using that as a model when it comes down to the storytelling, how we frame it, how we put that together, how we build that.
Yeah. So you've got to introduce those characters. You got to introduce the
Yes.
concept of the whole series. There's a
Yes.
lot that has to happen here in a pilot.
Yes.
You also got to introduce the storytelling aspect of the series. How, like you said, it's going to be a nonlinear. So you introduce that facet as well. So can you tell us what's going to happen in the pilot episode?
Well, John gets struck by lightning.
Yes, that's in the trailer.
And Noah may or may not be struck by God. Not really sure. Of course he's struck by God. Okay, so, I mean, we have to cement into the viewer's mind why the series is called Struck.
Right.
Sue Ellen named the series. She named this project.
Incredible name too, by the way.
Yeah, it was so funny because I remember I was like, should we call it The Great Adventure? Should we call it this? Should we, what? No. And so finally I get this phone call from her. It's really cute. So I get this phone call from her, and it's like almost after hello, she goes, I've come up with a name. And I was like, oh, okay. And she goes, Struck. And I just sat there for a minute. And I was imagining people saying it over and over again. I was imagining, what the artwork would look like. I was imagining, how people would relate to that. And it's nice and snappy, just one word, it separates you from just about everything else out on the market. And I was like, no, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And she was very excited. And then, so after that was when we started, really grabbing onto the identity of exactly what it is that we needed to say within the context of the promotional piece. And it was like, she's like, yeah, struck. And she said they were both struck by God. And I was like, boy, nailed it. She nailed that so well.
Yeah, and it kind of it developed into a t-shirt, but it really says that both of these men were struck by God. One to save mankind and build this ark, and the other to prove that it actually happened, the existence of the flood and Noah. They both were struck by God, and that one statement connects both of these men, even though they were separated by time and history. It connects them, and like you said earlier, they were obedient, to God and to God's calling. I think it's such a powerful thing, and we've talked about it before, but man, we have seen the hand of God move throughout this whole process, from the naming to little pieces and parts along the way, and how we were able to get everything done in a major amount and a small amount of time to get everything shot and put together. But and the tiny amount of money that we had to do everything, it really is pretty incredible how it all came together.
I mean, every time I look at the promo piece, and we've seen it a lot, every time I look at it though, I'm like, I cannot believe it stretches my credulity that I can't believe that we did all of that on the thin dime that we had. And a lot of people, well, that's a lot of money that we had. No, it really wasn't. When you get right down to it, and especially during inflation and at the end of COVID, and just a myriad of things that have been impediments to the success of the project.
Yeah.
All of that was able to be overcome, and we ended up with something that we're really very proud of. And we have gotten some really lovely feedback from some very serious people in the business, people who know, people who have seen it and are just like, wow, can't believe you guys pulled this off. This is amazing. People have gotten really very excited about it. So we are very hopeful for where it's going to go. And I think that that's probably been one of the one of the most exciting things about it is because we don't really know where it's going to end up at this particular point. So what we have to do is we've got to finish the pilot script. We're in the middle of doing all of that. And we've got to get our pitch deck together, and we've got to start, putting all of collating them, because we have a lot of elements, but collating all of the things together for the story Bible and how to make that work, and really think about the longevity of the series and so on. I know that in television there are three breaks for what gets sold overseas well and what gets into syndication well. 3 seasons is the bare minimum. 5 seasons is better, but your golden ticket is 7, which is one reason why The Chosen is doing 7 seasons, is that they can sell the whole thing as a lump, and it will never go away. After 7 seasons, it will be playing somewhere in the world at one point or another every hour of the day. So, I mean, when you start looking at it that way, we have humble beginnings and not really sure where the Lord is going to open up doors for us after that. And we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what's next. And we have our sights set on the 3 seasons, and that's kind of what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think a lot of people are going, how do you, one of the questions that I hear often is, how do you tell the story of John, who did these expeditions, and Noah, who built an ark? How are you going to tell that over, if you've got 3 to 5 seasons or maybe 7 seasons? How are you going to tell that story? Is there enough story that will take you over that many seasons?
Well, John started his expeditions in 1972. And he traveled for a really long time despite his MS diagnosis. He had all kinds of speaking engagements all over the world, but he also did a lot of research. So he was at Ararat a dozen times. He went to the Grand Canyon. He went to Mount St. Helens. Mount St. Helens was a really good example of current cataclysmic events that you can look at exactly how the earth behaved. He was a geologist, and so that was very important to him about how do you build canyons? How do you build these structures that people are saying millions and millions and millions of years old? This is how long it takes to do it. And he was very pointed in that. He was a great cheerleader for ICR, all of the amazing research and things that have come out of that particular organization, the postgraduate work and studies that they have done. Just I can't even begin to tell you all of the little things, all of those little things that some people may not know are all there.
He was this geologist that did these amazing discoveries, proving creation, proving the flood. And so I think that's going to be captivating for people to see that there is actual proof that there was a flood. There is actual evidence that there was a flood. But also, let's talk about the epic adventure of John's life, where he did these 13 different expeditions, and that he was shot at. He was a modern day Indiana Jones. I mean, he
was shot at. They were attacked by dogs. They had to go through avalanches. They had, it's just.
They were robbed.
They had their, it's like
lightning.
Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't even talk about, all the other things. And then of course, the biggest mountain that John had to climb and he had to deal with on a daily basis was his MS.
Yes.
And how that affected everything that he wanted to accomplish in this world.
Yeah.
I just find it absolutely amazing. He had a marriage with a loving wife, and he had three children that he raised, and he had all this other research and all this traveling and lecturing and publishing, and just an extraordinary life. This is a man who, it wasn't so much I can, it's like I will with God.
Yeah. It is just phenomenal. I don't think people truly understand. And at the same time that all that's going on, he was disassociated from any scientific, because in secular science, if you don't believe in evolution and you believe in young earth, and that's the area that you're specializing in, all of a sudden you are discredited by science. So, but I find it fascinating that if you really look at the evidence that he brought up and he discovered, what's so really just amazing to me is that it underlines science. It illuminates science and goes hand in hand with science. And I think that's going to be the phenomenal thing about the series, is you're going to see all that. And then let's talk about Noah too, because people think he built an ark and it was over with, but how many years did all of that take?
So I asked the Lord one day, sitting on the couch. I said, tell me about the food. Just the food. That's all I said. Just tell me about the food. And slowly, I am seeing Mrs. Noah teaching the daughters-in-law how to preserve food, how to can food, how to make clothing, how to spin wool, how to spin flax, how to dye things, in other words, all of the house things. And you have to realize that even if they had seedlings with them, which I'm pretty sure that they would have, even if they had seedlings with them to replant, a lot of fruit trees don't have edible fruit for 3 to 5 years, depending on the kind of tree and the conditions that you're going to be in. Well, the entire conditions changed completely. The atmospheric pressure changed, the weather changed, the fact that we had direct sunlight was different, the fact that we had an ice age almost immediately following the flood. Imagine that we had, just thing after thing after thing. It's like, and it's all related into how did they eat? You open up the door from the ark and what do you see? Absolute, complete, and total devastation.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I can't even begin to understand when it then comes down to the creature comfort of what do I eat? I have to allow the animals to multiply enough before I start eating them. Mm-hmm. I have to have the trees multiply enough before we start eating them. I have to be. It's like.
There's
3 to 5 years, 3 to 5 years worth of food. People
really they see this fairy tale kind of image of Noah, the guy with a long beard and the giraffe sticking out of this little bitty ark, and that's what they think of because that's the Sunday school ark.
Well, Graham.
Yeah, it's what they saw growing up, and that's what they associate Noah with. But in reality, the man had to experience PTSD from hearing the screams outside the doors, outside the ark.
I can't even imagine.
And everything was gone. It all was gone. His whole world was destroyed.
Everything was gone.
And now he has to start all over again after spending a year inside this ark.
Yeah.
With his family, and knowing that everyone he knew, everyone he preached to, everyone he tried to reach out to are dead and gone.
Well, I have to say this, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, they're dirty, rotten sinners. Well, if you were to do this today, and this is one of the episodes that I want to do, is when John loses a really close friend over his beliefs.
Yeah.
And it's one of those situations in which, if all of a sudden this world was completely removed from you and all you had with you were your immediate family, all of your friends, whether they're saved or not, are gone. It's just, I just find that so absolutely devastating. The entire city that he was associated with is just gone. And so these are the kinds of things, these very critical moments of decision that we have to make, especially as believers, to, are we going to sit idly by and let that happen now? Or are we going to do something to get everyone onto the arc that we have today, which is Jesus Christ. So
Yeah.
it's like when you start comparing those two things, it's just insane. It's insane. And I don't think people take that seriously enough. And the one thing that doing this project has really taught me is how very serious this whole storyline is. It's serious because of where we are today. I read Genesis 6 over and over and over again all the time. And I look at it and I'm like, we're already there. We're there right now. We're there today.
Yeah.
It's not some faraway thing. That
Right.
these are the kinds of decisions and situations that we have right now. So what we're hoping for the series, that people will see that and look to the same hope that is going to be in that series every single time we do one.
Well, and in Matthew 24, as we've said this before, but Jesus says the last days will be as in the days of Noah.
As in the days of Noah.
Even though there's those few pages in Genesis about Noah is mentioned, I think, at least 4 to 5 times in the
4
New
more
Testament.
times. I'm sorry, I have like a gnat. I have a gnat flying around me. So if all of a sudden I'm losing my mind,
I thought you were using your hands as you talk, so it's an Italian thing.
Even though there's nothing about me that's Italian.
Well, there might be a little bit, though.
Even close.
Well, tell us, Amanda. We've only got a few minutes left. I mean, these things go by so fast.
I know.
If anyone has any questions for Amanda, let us know. Post your questions really quick, and we'll get to them. But if you do have questions for Amanda, post them, and I'll get to them. But we've got a few minutes left, and I want to talk to you about a little bit more about what's happening next with the series. So just so you guys know, Amanda and Wes are writing the pilot episode now. They're in the process, and wait till you guys see it. It really is so phenomenal, so thrilling. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about where my character Noah is going to go as I play Noah, but there's so many things going on. It's going to be just, I think, epic, as we say. It's going to be epic. So that's happening now, and that's one of the things that we have to do for distributors. We've got to have that pilot episode done. But can we talk about what's going on next week? Can we say anything about that? I'm asking you. What do you think? Can we say something?
What's going on next week?
Well, we kind of released it already, and we let the followers, we let the Lightning Club know.
That little thing. Thing.
That little thing. So as you guys know, there's several distributors, several streaming platforms that are out there. And because of The Chosen, it's opened up new worlds for faith-based series. And so we've got one of those. But one of the groups we're introducing the series to is Angel Studios.
Yes.
So next week, we're officially submitting to Angel Studios. We just won an award through the Project 168 Films. And the award was the introduction to Angel Studios Guild. And what happens with that is that it is introduced, we submit it, and then it goes to the Guild, and the Guild starts to vote on it. Is this a series you really want to see? So if you are a member of the Guild of Angel Studios, just know that it's coming to Angel Studios next week, right?
Yes. Well, I think it takes they have a whole thing that they got to do. It's quite the process, by the way.
It is a process.
But I'm really looking forward to this because we have shown it to a number of people, and we've gotten such really good reactions from people, and I'm really very hopeful that this will connect with people, that they'll see it and they will go, yeah, I can get behind this. This is something I think that'll be really intriguing. It's very different because we're telling two complete stories about two very different people that share so much in common. And so I think that alone is intriguing and a lot of people are interested in, but I really want it to also be a very strong faith statement. And that's something that Angel has a lot of product out there, and not all of them are strong faith statements, but this one I believe is. And so I'm excited about that portion of it
Well,
because
it's a new way to tell a biblical story that I don't
yes,
think a lot of
yes,
people have approached, so it's
no, I haven't seen
kind of
anything like
an innovative way of telling another biblical
Yeah.
story, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I agree with that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's happening next week, you guys. So be praying for us as we submit that to Angel Studios. And we're not stopping there. I mean, that's just one outlet, but we are
Yes.
going to pitch to other folks. And that's the reason why we're getting this pilot script together and we're getting the series Bible together. That's another component we're working on as well. So it's
which is something,
process.
which is also something that includes visuals and things of that nature as well. So it's not just about the writing. It's not just about the story arcs and things like that. It's also about the look of it and the artwork and what do we want the costumes to look like and what do we want some of the backgrounds to look like and that type of thing. So these are all really super important things because they want to, whoever we're talking to, they want to know, do we have enough creative energy to put behind such a complicated project so that they don't have to worry about it?
Right.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. They want to be able to help us up to a certain point, but they want us to be able to have the energy and the passion and the vision to be able to make this a reality and make it a really wonderful reality as we do it.
Well, Amanda, we are unfortunately out of time. So thank you so much for your insight today. I think it's just a little thrilling to understand the concept of the series and also kind of see what goes into the writing of the series as well. And most folks don't understand all that. And so I'm thankful that you're here today to talk more about that and how it all comes together. But you guys, just keep us in prayer. And this process we're doing right now as we speak. In fact, as we get off, Amanda and Wes are going to get together and start writing and some more today. But anyway, thanks, Amanda, so much. I appreciate it.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, wasn't that interesting? I find it very interesting to find out how it's all done, the writing component. And thank God we have someone like Amanda and Wes that can put all the pieces together and tell this really epic story of not only John Morris, but also Noah and that whole world. It's just going to be so cool. And I'm so excited about everyone that's involved in this. And look at all these people that we have here. Savannah Grace. Savannah, thank you so much for joining today. Great new friend of mine. So I'm glad she is here. And she's helping us promote, one of the great people that is helping us promote the series. And she's a new follower. So thank you so much for joining today. And listen, we have so much going on, you guys. I hope that you stay in touch with us and make sure you go to strucktheseries.com, the new website, click on the Lightning Club and donate too. Be a part of this. Engage with what we're doing here. You have the power to make this series happen. You have the power like no one else. And it's important that you get involved and stay involved. It's a very important process and we've got to get this thing out there. We literally can flood the world with truth. And that's the exciting thing about this. We want you guys to be involved. So please, please get involved in this process. And we thank you guys so much. And we'll see you soon.